Welcome, everybody. As Yossi said, this is the highest brain power that can exist in an industry. High-performance computing, right? We're the smartest people in the world. We make reality happen out of our dreams, out of our imagination. That's what HPC is. And now, thanks to AI, thanks to the computing power, thanks to GPUs and TPUs and all that, and significantly higher levels of capability, we can make our dreams happen faster, bigger, and in a more compelling way. So AI, for sure, is standing on the shoulders of HPC. There is no question about it. High-performance computing, but high-performance computing needs to pivot into high-performance data, because at the end of the day, everything we do, all the innovation, all the creation, all the scientific discoveries, it's all about data. So that's where Diatte fits into all of this. So for the past decade or so, massive investments have gone into creating the infrastructures in data centers and in the cloud that enable scientific innovation, scientific discovery, and business outcomes and financial outcomes. Well, the monetization and the value creation of all of this revolves around data. So infrastructure and cloud investments resulting in data enablement, which delivers scientific discovery, scientific outcomes, as well as financial outcomes and business outcomes. And this is across industries. This is a global pivot of the world's economy in every aspect of it, from consumers to organizations to academia to government centers. It is truly transforming everything that we do. So, Diatte, hopefully you guys know what we do, but Diatte is an enabler and an accelerator of all of these things that each one of you is doing across use cases, industries throughout the globe, whether it's in your own data centers or in the cloud. So we are to data what Nvidia is to compute, and both organizations came from high-performance computing, which is why we're able to deliver the level of scale and the level of capability that is required by customers to really make these outcomes real. And for HPC and AI to really operate well, whatever the compute is, whether it's GPU-enabled, TPU-enabled, CPU-enabled, it needs to be fed through data. So data is an essential part of success in all of that. And Diatte is the company that feeds the compute and delivers the data. And think of it, irrespective of the use cases that we have, whether you are a university, a government agency, an organization in life sciences, in financial services, in autonomous driving, and so on, there are different aspects of the workflow that need to be accelerated. And these aspects have come from the models, ingesting the data, training the models. Then these models result into an analytics layer, which then translates into inference. But in every aspect of that, wherever the compute is, that compute needs to tie into data, and that data needs to accelerate value and accelerate outcomes. And this is, a simple chart of an AI factory, which is cloud-enabled as well as data center-enabled. And in these AI factories, you have the compute part of it, GPU, TPU, your flavor of what is required on the compute side. Alongside that is Diatte. Alongside that is the data, and the data that is being accelerated. Diatte is deployed in hundreds and hundreds of organizations, companies, universities, government agencies, sovereign AI, AI factories. It is worldwide. Our footprint is very deep. These are some of the logos, some of our customers. Nvidia, obviously, Nvidia has been a wonderful partner, a wonderful customer of Diatte for the past 8 years. We're the only technology in data deployed internally by Nvidia, but also many, many others. What we've noticed recently is that the consumption of AI is really one that requires flexibility. So Diatte engaged in a relationship, in a partnership with a number of cloud providers. So hyperscalers, Google, obviously OCI, CoreWeave, and many, many others, because consumption needs to be highly distributed, and the outcome needs to tie into the enablement globally. So, what are the challenges that organizations are faced with when they're dealing with this compute problem? Well, compute is getting increasingly expensive. The investments are missed. And I think these are just some surveys that we took and other organizations. 40% of GPUs sit idle waiting for data. 40%. That means a massive investment in GPUs, while 40% of it is not bearing fruit. I mean, that is massive. For an organization which has deployed, whether it's a $10 million investment, 100 million, a billion, or 10 billion, 40% of that is going to waste because their GPUs are just sitting there. Data center power is one of the major challenges that everybody is faced with. They cannot get enough power into their environment. And so the ability to take the power footprint and shrink it significantly in order to still deliver outcomes is essential and very, very important. And 62% of organizations are struggling with fragmented hardware and software as it relates to AI data. These are major problems. Well, how does Diatte solve these problems? Well, 3 things. One, we keep the GPUs busy. The GPUs are running 99% efficiency. It's not 40% sitting idle, 99% utilization. We have some use cases and case studies in the real world where the utilization is at 99.9%. We'll be talking about some of that. We lower the cost per token significantly, 70% lower. Cost per token, as you all know, is something that is very important and very significant. We lower that in a very significant way. And power, cooling, data center footprint, we shrink that. We make that a reality. So 3 product announcements today. Diatte Core, which is combining our Exa and Nvidia together in order to provide a unified, cohesive platform that lowers the cost per token, lowers the cost and the footprint of power and the data center, accelerates checkpointing, and lowers the cost to ingest while keeping the GPU utilization at 99%. That's number one. Number 2, AI FastTrack, which accelerates AI adoption. What we've seen over and over from organizations is, yes, we want AI. Yes, we see the benefits of AI. Make it easier for us to adopt, to implement, to use AI in order to solve the business outcomes, the scientific outcomes, and the financial outcomes that we're trying to do. So AI FastTrack is aimed at that. And sovereign AI blueprints. So Diatte is involved in lots of very, very large sovereign AI implementations globally, from the US, obviously, Europe, Asia Pacific, the Middle East. And that is the same thing. So we put together a footprint and a reference architecture for sovereign AI. How do you actually build successfully at very high speed a sovereign AI implementation? So Diatte Core, we'll be getting into the details of the technology, but it is optimized for Nvidia and GPUs and TPUs and CPUs, and significant acceleration. And acceleration means faster time to insight, faster time to result, faster time to innovation, while accelerating the mixed workload throughput. Most workloads have a write component and a read component. Well, a mixed environment and the acceleration of that is something that is very complex. Diatte has been solving it successfully for decades now because the world of high-performance computing is exactly that. It is hardware agnostic, so we have a platform that can be deployed on your hardware of choice. You pick your server of choice. We will deploy the Diatte platform on top of it. And looking at the pipeline acceleration and lowering the latencies associated with inference, it also does that in a very, very significant way, while also clearly keeping the GPU utilization very high. AI FastTrack, again, it's delivering the capabilities of AI on-prem and in the cloud. More and more, we're seeing organizations say, hey, we want to do both. We have a data center. That data center does not have enough footprint, doesn't have enough power. So we're also going to rely on cloud consumption. But it's a hybrid model. So Diatte enables that. And it's the integration of the orchestration layer while also delivering insight in a cohesive way across multiple locations and multiple areas. So cloud.ddn.com is where you can see that. We have a DDN 1P offering through Google. We have an offering through OCI. We are deployed in a number of new cloud providers to deliver that capability. So it's basically taking HPC clusters, pivoting them into AI pipeline enablement at an accelerated pace. And Sovereign AI Blueprint. So this is something that we developed in collaboration with Nvidia, with Accenture, with Deloitte. It's validated. So we have deployments now with thousands of GPUs that basically rely on this footprint that we've developed with these organizations. Yoda Shakti in India, 8,000 B200 GPUs at 99% utilization, 40% power savings. And the Enterprise AI Hyperpod, which again, with Nvidia, which is delivering a 10x efficiency gain. So these are the sovereign AI blueprints that are clearly deployable as AI factories, are clearly deployable in your own environment, whatever your environment might require. But it's a reference architecture that has been co-developed, tested, and can be deployed in the venue of your choice. So, the DDN architecture, basically, we combine three things. HPC scale, because again, we come from the world of HPC, just like Nvidia comes from the world of HPC. Scale is essential in the world of HPC. So we bring that to the table. We combine it with enterprise reliability, which is what DDN has been focusing on for the last several years. Bring in reliability and predictability into scale, efficiency, and performance, and AI native speed. All of it combined into one platform. So it's combining all these things together. Now, looking at some Nvidia recent announcements, well, if you're doing AI, if you're doing HPC, chances are somehow, somewhere you have GPUs in your environment. And so taking Nvidia or GPUs in general and accelerating and delivering value out of that is very, very important. So DDN is certified with Blackwell, Grace Blackwell, GB200, GB300. Again, significantly faster checkpointing, significantly better latency, and highest GPU utilization. So bringing all these things together, which translates into true value in enterprises, in organizations. So for financial services, what does it mean? Faster simulation, better fraud models, so catching it at a higher level. Better P&L per GPU hour. That's in financial services. In life sciences, faster screening. So more candidates, more patients going through on the same cluster. With NCPs and neo cloud providers, better scalability, lower cost. So being able to sell more GPU hours per rack, increasing revenue, increasing margin. So Blackwell, and Grace Blackwell are bringing more horsepower. DDN is turning it into higher efficiency, higher value. Second thing, Vera Rubin, Kyber, gigafactories. So it's not just bigger plants, it's bigger chips, it's all of it. So DDN plus Nvidia would bring all this together so that the factory is running continuously. No idle time in the factory. So think of it as AI factories that are operating 24/7 without missing a beat. That's what it's enabling. So DDN Exascaler for training and simulation, so on the model side of things, DDN Nvidia on the object side and on the inference side. Bringing these two things together delivers the best of both worlds and handles all of the requirements that you might have, from training to analytics to inference, from the software layer to the GPUs, TPUs, CPUs, to the networking, to the storage, tying all of it together. For governments, for clouds, also multi-tenant isolation, which is very important. Many of our customers are benefit from this. We provide multi-tenant capability. It is repeatable blueprint, as we've been discussing, and power savings and footprint savings. So DDN, in essence, is how the data is moving through the AI factory. It's moving through the AI factory, again, as I said, 24/7 without missing a beat. And finally, Inference Mac, which is an open source capability which NVIDIA put out there in order to get better metrics and better measurements on the value that is really out there. I mean, it's easy to just look at some simple metrics and say, yes, my environment is operating at highest levels of efficiency. But NVIDIA is now bringing the capability of really measuring those things which have an impact into the scientific outputs, the business outcomes, and the financial outcomes that customers are driving. So DDN KV Cache, we've done significant work with NVIDIA in order to truly accelerate KV Cache, which is a very, very big deal, and we'll be getting into the details of that. Hot tiers, cold tiers, so that basically means better economics. You don't need to pay for something where access is not as high as other parts of data. So hot tiering, cold tiering, combining all of that together. And again, that translates into each industry, in each vertical market. So DDN, just like NVIDIA, the focus is not just to deliver one DDN unified platform, which is solving all of these problems. It's doing that, but it's also creating value specific to each industry, specific to each use case, which is what we've been doing for the past several years. It's really optimizing the capability of DDN for each use case. Because if you're in financial services, well, your requirements are going to be different than if you're in academia. If you're in academia, your requirements are not going to be the same as if you're in life sciences or autonomous driving. Each one of these use cases requires an optimization. So the underlying platform needs to deliver the efficiency and the scalability, but then the optimization by vertical market is another area where DDN is adding a lot of value. So, my ask is very, very simple. Let us partner. Let us show you how we can add value. What we always say at DDN is we wrap ourselves around our customer. Customer delight is what we live for. Customer delight is what we innovate for. The innovation is in going out there, spending time with our customers, looking at the challenges that they're faced with, and coming up with amazing technology that addresses those challenges better than anybody else can. So I believe that we have great technology that can solve your requirements better than anybody else can. It's a long roadmap. It's a collaboration and cooperation with NVIDIA and other vendors as part of the ecosystem in order to ensure that we always try to stay one step ahead of your requirements. I believe that we have the best engineering team when it comes to HPC and AI. Hundreds and hundreds of fantastic engineers and developers who only live to create amazing technology that adds value to what you do. And we have the backing of a great financial partner, Blackstone, which has $1 trillion under management, and we're supporting it financially. So all of that, we are here to deliver value to you. We are here to make your HPC initiatives and your AI initiatives better, more powerful, more enabling. And, at the end of the day, as Josie said, we're just a bunch of engineers. Paul is an engineer. He'll be talking about some of the great things that we're doing for our customer. I'm an engineer. We're all engineers. So that's what we enjoy doing. We enjoy solving very, very difficult engineering problems and adding value to our customers in order to delight